how's it going? We here, me and my wife, we bringing y'all some fresh content. Some faces behind the helmets, if you will, and I want to share with you. Number one thing I feel like people are afraid of when it comes to content on YouTube is showing their face and just being natural. Me and my wife talk about it all the time, how people are afraid to just be themselves, be authentic. You don't have to pretend to be something you're not. In fact, you're gonna get a lot further alone if you just be yourself rather than trying to be somebody or something you're not. And so that's one reason I feel like a lot of people don't make content. At my age, I feel like time is running out. I'm running out of time. I'm not 20. I'm not in my 20s. I'm not in my 30s. I'm not a little spring chicken no more. So time is running out, and so therefore I decided to post this video, make this video in regards to just being open and transparent with you guys as to what our channel is about, or my channel is about, and what I do, why I started my channel. I started my channel because, as I said, I bought my motorcycle. Before that, I wouldn't have never started a YouTube channel. At my age, as I say, I'm 42, and if I was young, I wish I knew then what I know now. I would have started a YouTube channel then. And so there was one thing I was thinking about yesterday, and it was about if there was anything that I can go back to tell my teenage self, if you will. And I thought long and hard on that before I answered the question to myself. So if there was anything you can go back and tell your teenage self, what would it be? That's something you got to think about, That's something you got to think about. And I said, I'm up in my 40s, so I'm running out of time. So I'm like, now I'm to the point of stop thinking about it. Stop studying so long. You study long, study wrong. Y'all know the saying. And so I'm like, just go ahead and post whatever comes out, whatever comes of it, comes of it. Just being transparent, authentic, And so I said, if there was anything I can go back and tell my teenage self, it would be to don't hesitate. Just do it, like Nike. Just do it. And that right there, I think that would be a big thing, because it would have caused me to put a lot of things into action as a youngster that I would have been able to benefit from now. Whether it be education, whether it be a career choice, whether it be investment, whatever the case may be. If I would have known that then, what I know now, I think I would be in a lot better position than where I'm at now in life, in general, period. So that's one thing. And also, when it comes to making YouTube content, a lot of people are hesitant, because they're fear of, you got trolls, you got all type of negativity. You open yourself up, you make yourself vulnerable to society, as a whole, and people tend to judge you, based on what they see on on your channel. And so my channel, as I said, it started because I bought the motorcycle. And I bought the motorcycle and my wife's motorcycle, and we started this journey. We started this two-wheel journey, this love for two wheels, and I'm having a blast. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm having a blast. I'm having the time of my life. And so yeah, but don't hesitate. If there's anything I can tell you, you guys, is not to hesitate. Put one foot in front of the other, you know, and watch it grow. You know, watch what happens. Watch the result. You know that's a fear I think people have when making content is, you know, they have that fear of just, you know, or that they're discouraged. You know, they tried it, you know, maybe 1 or 2 videos and the views are low, and you know, you like maybe got 5 views. I started my channel and I was like, I got like 10 views.
Yeah.
Those are long form videos. You know, my first, and I still don't have the views that, you know, I see a lot of channels have, and I'm like, just keep going. It's only been 2 months. It's only been 2 months, guys, that I've been posting and making content. So if my content don't look the way you feel like it should look, or the way other people's content look, then I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you.
You're doing the best you can.
You know, I'm a beginner, so I'm a beginner YouTuber. I'm a newbie to YouTube, and I am a newbie to motorcycle riding. So, but as I say, you know, don't be scared. Don't let what people say or think shy you or deter you from making, because that one person at the end of the day, I promise you that person could care less of how the rest of your life is, you know. So you have to do what's best for you, and you know what's comfortable for you. Me, as I said, I want to make this channel. I want to make this channel a success. I want to be successful at this channel. Not so much for money wise, because I know the money is not that big of a deal. It's not. Trust me, I know. I mean, you have to be doing a lot more. You basically have to go full time on YouTube if you're gonna be like a multi-millionaire based from YouTube. It's not happening. Trust me. People have gone viral on YouTube. People have, you know, gotten hundreds and thousands of subscribers and become monetized. Me, I'm not even monetized. I'm not monetized. It's only been 2 months. Hey, what can I expect? You know, I mean, I don't expect. I mean, some people are lucky enough to, you know, get that one hit wonder and take off. You know.
But it was so hard to get the first subscriber. Was so hard.
I was like. I remember having like 20 something subscribers, and I was like. In my description, I put 1,000 subscribers on the way. You know, OTW. I was like 1,000 subscribers, and I only had 25. I was only at 25, so I was like, man, I don't know. I guess I'm dreaming too big, or not dreaming big enough. You know. So, but anyways, long story short, that 25. You know, I was using ChatGPT. I was using CapCut. I was using, man, you know, if it was free, I was using it. Trust me. If it was free, because I wasn't paying for nothing. I'm like, I ain't paying. But they say you got to pay to play, you know. Sometimes you do have to pay to play. And that's why you see a lot of YouTubers' channels, they have, they're monetized, and they have subscribers out the wazoo. But they also have little membership perks and things of that sort, where if you're a member of that channel, not a subscriber but a member, you know, where you pay for a membership on that channel, you get these certain perks and whatnot, where you get releases, video content release before it goes public, you know, stuff like that. And I just like, man, you know what, I ain't paying no money. If I make it, I make it. If I don't, I don't. Hello. I'm just being straightforward with you guys, man. I'm being myself. You know, I'm being honest and transparent. As like I said, my wife right here, she's discouraged on every side, on every turn. You know, and I try to keep her encouraged. Like it'll work. You know, it's not gonna be much, but it's gonna be something. And anything be the blank. Hmm?
The,
Anything be the blank. If you have zero and somebody give you 50 cents, guess what? 50 cents is better than zero. Trust me. Man, so, but yeah, but anyways.
what really confuses me sometimes is that you try to get information,
Mm-hmm.
but then my discouragement comes, not giving up, but it comes at times because this person is saying this, the other person is saying the other, and it kind of confuses me a lot. So it's like you don't know where to go. You are confused.
You don't know which
All
information is
bombard
accurate.
information of just you don't know exactly what to do.
You don't know which one to listen to.
And sometimes, okay, some people have information and they want to be paid to give you information. And I told my husband, you know,
that's because they say as the saying goes, the game is to be sold and not told. So as I say, you gotta pay to play.
I don't understand that part, but anyways,
yeah.
But you know, we gonna keep trying.
Keep posting for you guys that are subscribers, those that are watching, those that come across my page, come across my channel or whatever. And yeah, they just, like I said, you may be watching this right now, and you may be thinking, I only have this many subscribers, and you may be my age or older. You may be younger. And if you're my age, you're probably thinking, man, what's the use, right? Let me tell you, if you listen, an older guy once told me, an elder male once told me, he said, man, listen, I was out there shooting basketball on a court, and I don't like basketball. And I guess that's kind of why my attitude reflected in my shot and why I never made a shot. And so, and I wouldn't even try it. I wouldn't even try it because I know I couldn't make it. I never could make a shot, never could make a basket, so I wouldn't even try it. And so the elder guy threw me the basketball, and he was like, man, try it. Shoot it. So I shot it once, missed it. I knew I was going to miss it, of course. He threw it back to me again, and I was like, man. So I shot it again. So when I shot it again, at this point, I'm ready to walk off. And so I said, you know what, man? I said, man, don't throw the ball back to me. I said, I never make it. And I'm right there. Those words coming out of my mouth tells the inner person inside of me that, guess what? You'll never make it. He told me, he said, if you shoot 10 times, and I guarantee you'll make one. I didn't even want to shoot 3. I didn't want to shoot not one more shot,
Were you discouraged?
I was discouraged because I was discouraged before he even threw me the ball, because I already put in my mind that, hey, I'm no good at this. Like some of you have. You're probably already saying, I'm no good at this, right? You've put it in your mind, and as long as you put that in your mind, you're not going to be good at it. That's just simple as that, But that's how it works.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but when we got the bikes, right, you never knew nothing about bikes. I had a little idea about bikes, but you had no idea about.
I didn't know.
And you learned. You did until you learned. Because nobody taught you.
Because if that's what I'm saying, it's your attitude or your mentality towards the thing in which you want to conquer, and I just told myself, I said, man, I've always wanted a crotch rocket. I've always talked about it. I've always told her about it. I was like, man, I've always wanted one. It's not a crotch rocket per se. It's a little Chinese bike, but at the same time, it has the aesthetics, and it has the seating position that makes you feel like you're on a sports bike. You don't necessarily have the speed or whatever, but still. And so I got on the bike, not knowing anything about a clutch or how to switch a gear, or all I've ever driven in my life was automatic cars. I've never driven anything standard shift. And so I jumped on the bicycle, jumped on the motorcycle, and my mentality before even getting on it was, I can do this. You know, I can do this. It's just a motorcycle. I said it can't be no harder than riding a bicycle. Yeah, and it actually is different, you know, but that was just my mentality. Like, if I can ride a bicycle, I can ride a motorcycle. You know? I'll figure out the gear shifting and clutching and all that later on, you know. But to get on it and get a feel of it, that was amazing. That was amazing. But as I say, you guys, you know, just don't give up. You know, do like I did. You know, my math teacher once told me the same exact thing. This gave me the same lesson. Sometimes you get to learn your lesson over. You get to repeat that lesson when you don't pass it. Or sometimes you get to take that lesson again. You get to take that test again as a reminder. You need a reminder. You know, you need to be refreshed. Your mind needs to be refreshed. And the math teacher told me, you know, because I was failing in math, and you know, what was it, the 8th grade? My grades, I wasn't failing, but I was on the brink of failing. You know, right on the cusp of failing. So I told my math teacher I don't like it, and he basically told me, say, that's why you're gonna fail. And I looked at him, and I was like, why would you say that? You know? And so he said, he told me, he said, because your attitude. He said, change your attitude. Change your attitude. Try it. Change your attitude towards math. Change your attitude towards whatever it is you have a negative attitude towards. Change it. You know? And see. Watch and see. The results will blow you away. You probably won't even recognize it when it happens. Because when my grades start changing, I didn't even recognize it. I did not recognize it at all. I was like, okay, I'm going to math class. Let me think positive. I like math. I love math. Yeah, I like math. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And look, today, that's all you work on.
That's all I do is numbers.
Numbers all day.
It. Fractions and decimals.
All day, every day, all day.
Everything dealing with numbers, you know, in my job. So, but, yeah, that's pretty much it right there. That's in a nutshell, you know, just change your attitude and you'll see the difference. I promise you will. I promise you. So for you guys watching, don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already subscribed, and turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified when I drop something new. We love you guys. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.